Hi there and welcome back to EBTKS Tech. Now today I'm talking about whether the EcoFlow system is worth your money. Now I have one product from EcoFlow and I'll show you that in a moment, and I've been really happy with it, but I see more and more people on YouTube now promoting the batteries to EcoFlow. And there is one particular guy there who I think gives an honest review, and I'll put the link down there for him. And he gives you some honest facts about them. That's the main thing. Now, I was gonna go with the EcoFlow system and buy the batteries and integrate it and have the whole EcoFlow ecosystem, forgive the pun. But I decided against it because they're just charging too much money now. And maybe you feel the same, I don't know. And I'll show you the item I have in a moment, and I'll tell you how much I paid for it. And although it has become obsolete now, I believe, they don't manufacture it anymore and they've replaced it with something different, slightly better. I haven't got that, so I can't speak of it, but the one I've got, I am happy with it. But what I have got is, or what I have chosen to go with, should I say, is a different route, or route if you're American, a different route to the way EcoFlow choose to do it. Because the thing is with the EcoFlow systems is if you have a power cut, I know you can plug external items into their battery packs, but it's going to go along the same lines as what I'm going to explain to you why I haven't gone for it now, if that makes sense. So I haven't gone for the batteries because I wanted something a little bit more controllable and off-grid, if that makes sense. So I'll show you what I've got. Now, there's three things actually I've got, but the first thing I've got, and I'll take you down here and show you, is I have a Blue Yeti. I'm sure you've seen it in other videos. It's an AC, let me just position the camera a little bit different. It's an AC 180. 1800 watts, and it's a 1152 watt hour capacity. Now of course, with the conversion of electricity from AC to DC and DC to AC, you're never going to quite get that out of it. That is nice because it's portable. It is a bit weighty. Blue Yeti have got a 3000 kilowatt. They've even got a 2000, and I believe a 1 kilowatt now, which is much more compact. The whole line has completely been compacted now, and I think that's much better. I mean, I bought this probably about a year ago and I've been really happy with it. It's been absolutely great, and it serves an awful lot of purposes around the house. So you can plug vacuum cleaners, toasters, microwaves, just trying to think of anything else, lawn mowers, anything into this thing and it will work. And like I say, obviously the capacity of it, you've got to be mindful of the amount of drain you have on it, whatever appliance you've been using, even electric tools. And I've even run the TV that I've got on now from it for about 10 hours. So it's really good. However, most of the time I've been using, I've got two of these Victron energy inverters. This one is a 12 volt 800, so it gives a continuous power output of about 650 or maybe 700, and the peak on it is somewhere up in about 1600, I think, watts. So, but it won't hold that for very long, so obviously it'll just cut out if you try and sustain that. Now, only has one plug, so I run it normally through just a power lead, an extension cord, and I've got this just in this box at the moment, which there's a project going on here. It's not finished, so don't judge me. But now try and do this one-handed, and all I've got inside here is a battery, a 12 volt battery, which is an eco-worthy battery, this one, and it's got Bluetooth, which really assists me checking on the status of the battery, state of charge. And also in here, like I say, it's a project on the go at the moment. I might buy a new one of these because I've got another one in the garage which is Bluetooth, but I've got the Victron Energy MPPT charger. Now of course I use the VE Direct on this, which is interchangeable between that and that. So that is the project. Now this is quite heavy at the moment. It's all of this, excuse me, all of this, sorry about that, all of this is much heavier than the Bluetti over there, because mainly because of that. The battery isn't that heavy, it's just that is incredibly heavy. But of course the Bluetti runs on about 36 volts, I believe it is, around about that. And of course I'm running on a 12 volt, and if you know anything about electrics, when you run something for 12 volts, you need really thick, hefty cables, really thick, hefty, I mean, this is a low frequency inverter, so therefore it's going to be heavier and bulkier than a high frequency inverter, which I've got in the garage, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I carry this one and that one around the house, just operating my TVs, PlayStations. I've got a TV box under there, anything that will run up to, like say, 650 watts on there continually. I get about 7 or 8 hours worth of TV and TV box out of that, maybe 9 hours. And the Bluetti, well, depends on the charge you're running. I'll take you in the garage now, and I'll show you what we have in there. Okay, so in the garage we have, and I'm sure you've seen this before, again, if you've looked on some of my previous videos, I have the Hyper battery. I did a review on that, and since I purchased that, I purchased an eco-worthy battery. This one hasn't got the Bluetooth, so I had to stick a shunt on it so I know the state of charge. That is interchangeable with the box out there, and they all come into here, into the garage, to be placed here, and they go through this little charging station here, which I have a switch here, and I'll explain this to you in a moment. But they go through this XT60 connector, and I have one of those connected virtually, virtually to everything I have. So there's one to the eco-worthy battery here. So literally when I pick up this battery and carry it off, I use it, bring it back, and just plug it in, and it works. The Hyper did have one connected, but I've taken that off and stuck that now on the box that you've just seen. So, but this has got a state of, well, it's a rough state of charge. It's down to about 91% at the moment. I haven't charged that for about 3 or 4 days. No, it's more than that, isn't it? It's probably getting on for about a week actually now. That hasn't been charged, so it's slowly discharging. I have the MPPT solar charger in here, which is the Bluetooth model. Now this runs through this switch here, and this switch here has got a 1, 0 and 2. Now obviously when it's on 1, it comes down this XT60 cable and charges whatever's connected to it, whatever battery. So it'll either be that one or the one in the box that you've just seen. If it's on the 0, it's off, and if it's on the number 2, you'll see there, if I can click this back, so it's on 0 now, if it's on number 2, it immediately uses or sends the signal to this grid tie inverter to come on. I don't use that an awful lot. I use it mainly for the batteries. And outside, again, I'll show you in a moment, that these things in here charge they're connected to various solar panels outside, and I'll show you that in a moment. A couple of breakers up here to turn things on and off, and one there for batteries. And obviously just like a mini extension cable there to act as a distribution board for various things, and a charger for my electric lawnmower. So that's what is in the garage. Now before we go outside, I want to show you the actual EcoFlow device I have, and that is the Stream. I can't remember what the model number of this is, but it's the first version of it. As you can see, it's the solid aluminium block version of it. And do you know what? I've had this about a year, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. Sorry to sound like Gary Barlow. Absolutely fantastic. But it's been brilliant. So the solar goes in there, and the AC out comes there, and yeah, does the job. Absolutely fantastic. That cost me £99, probably just over a year ago, 14-15 months ago, I'm not too sure. I purchased, I think, can't remember whether it was eBay or Amazon, But I purchased it, and there's a little tool there, you can see, to get the things off at the bottom, the cables. I purchased it anyway for £99, and it's been working flawlessly. It's been on every day for the last, let's say 14 months, 15 months. And I will show you a screenshot of the app that it connects to and show you how many kilowatt hours I've produced in that period of time. Take you outside now and show you what charges what. Again, if you saw previous videos, what you will see here I had on the back of the garage wall was 3 individual 100 watt solar panels. I've since taken them down, I've got rid of them, I've sold them, I've put them with just this, I've replaced them, should I say, with this single 250 watt panel. And that is what I use to charge the batteries with that you've seen by the XT60 cable. Now, if you follow this ugly cabling that I have all around the garden now, and I might change this, I might change all of this, because look at it, it's just, it goes all the way around here, and it's probably far too long, but it goes up, and I'll try and give you a view on this extension. It goes up to serve those 2 solar panels. The one closest to you is a 375 and the one furthest away is a 460, and they're on top of the shed, and they predominantly go to the grid tie converter. So they're the ones that serve the energy going into the house. I'll try and show you a different angle. That's the 461 watt, or 460, I think it is 460, it's not 465, 460. And that one there is the 375. And like I say, they're both plugged in to the EcoFlow stream, and they work really, really well. On average, it gives me about 500 watts, I think, 550 watts. Bear in mind the actual device itself in here, in the garage, the stream is capable, sorry, the light's going down in here, but the stream itself is capable of taking up to 800 watts. And occasionally I disconnect it from the stream and use those solar panels to charge some of the EcoFlow batteries and sometimes the Bluetti. It depends how much sun I've got, and it depends how much time I've got. But the whole purpose or the point of this video was just to show you that you don't need to spend huge amounts of money on purchasing EcoFlow products. Now, like I say, I am really happy with my EcoFlow stream. It's been absolutely wonderful, and it's served me well for the last God knows how many months. But EcoFlow have suddenly increased their prices, probably because your plug-in solar in the UK is going to be legalised soon, and they're just capitalising, aren't they? So I'm not going to buy into that. And remember, if the grid goes down, you know, you're going to have to plug these things into any external appliances into the actual battery itself anyway. So you're going to have to cart them around the house. And that's really all I'm doing now, but at far less cost. To give you an idea, the eco-worthy battery cost me about, the Bluetooth one cost me about £140. And the price of lithium phosphate batteries has come down tremendously for the 100 watt, 12 volt, 100 watt battery, 100 amp hour batteries anyway. So I would recommend that if you're going to go for a system where you just want to save money in your house, just go for a plug and play system that you build yourself. Don't bother paying top dollar money like 600, 700, 800, over £1,000 now for a simple 2 kilowatt battery off EcoFlow. And yes, they are wonderfully integrated products. And by the way, that's not the only thing you need. If you're going to do it properly, you need a smart meter which connects to your consumer unit, which is another £100 or more. They seem to be going up as well. And then you've got the trouble of paying an electrician, unless you're qualified yourself, to install it. So it's just too much hassle for me. And the point I'm trying to make on this video is, if you're a small setup like I am, He says, you know, I live in a 5-bedroom house, right? There's only 2 of us live here, me and my son, and my girlfriend comes and stays here occasionally, but she's got her own house. And my average sort of consumption on power as a base level is round about 300 watts, I'd say. So the solar panels being on during the day just cover that. In actual fact, if I'm not careful and I have to, you know, tether down the wattage on the EcoFlow stream, if I'm not careful, I end up pushing stuff back to the grid, which I don't want to do. So my ultimate aim is to try and get that 0 on the smart meter in the house, the in-house display meter. But other than that, I just can't either the Bluetti or these batteries around and just plug everything in that way. And it works fantastically well. And my bills have dropped tremendously. Like I say, the Bluetti is the best thing if you want to put on a charger or something of high voltage, or high wattage, should I say. Then the Bluetti, yes, it did cost me £400 or thereabout when I purchased it, but it's almost paid for itself now because I've used it so much, and it's, you know, the batteries last about 10 years, and that's been used and, you know, discharged and recharged every single day, and they last like I say, they last an awfully long time. So I think they're value for money, but I wouldn't be buying tons of those power stations. It's cheaper to make your own. And like I say, 100 amp hour battery, I don't know, 130, 140 pounds, you can get a decent quality or a decent brand. But having said that, you can twin them up and get 24 volts or 36 volts or 48 volts or whatever you want out of it. Because the higher the voltage you go with these things, the more efficient they become. But you then have to buy the relevant inverters to the correct voltage, and it can be expensive. I just happen to have 12 volt system, so I worked it around the 12 volts. And I forgot to mention in here, and I'll show you now, turn the camera around again, but I have a Renogy 1000 watt inverter, and that runs off this battery at the moment. And when that goes flat, I flick it over to that one and then put that one on charge and whatever. And anything in the garage that needs up to 1000 watts, I can run off that, even on an extension cable. But I also have this this other inverter here from Victron, which is a 12500. Now that will run up to about 300, 400, possibly continuous watts, and has a peak of about 900. It's not as big or as heavy. It still is heavy because it's a low frequency inverter, but it is still heavy, but it's nowhere near as big as or as heavy as the 800 one. And that one, obviously it's fused up and wired up at the moment, but it's not connected to anything. And that one sometimes can be connected to the battery. If I just need an inverter somewhere to run around in the house with, plug something else in of a night time, lights, TV or whatever, then that does the job. And I'll just carry this battery. They're all relatively light, as you know yourself. You've owned a lithium ion battery or lithium phosphate battery, my apologies, keep saying lithium ion, lithium phosphate. For the size, you'd think they're as heavy as a car battery, but they're not. They're quite light considering. And the eco-worthy ones are even smaller. I mean, look at the size of that. They're both the same, 100 amp hour ones, and they're both 1280 watt hours, both lithium phosphates, but that one is much, much smaller. But this is the modern way of doing it now. I bought that some time ago and paid an awful amount of money for that one compared to that. But that's what technology is like, isn't it? It just progresses and everything shrinks in terms of size and price. So I keep that, and that'll keep me going for about another 7, 8, 10 years possibly. I don't know, I've hardly used that, to be honest. Although it has been used, but hardly. But the eco-worthy there and the one in the house gets used all the time with a Bluetti. So so yeah, that's my setup, and that's the way I use it. And like I say, the whole purpose of this video is just to give you some food for thought, really, about whether you really need an EcoFlow system and paying all of that money, because the average return on them is probably about 5 to 7 years. And I don't know, if you've got the money and you like it, they are very good products and they've worked very, very well, a bit like Apple. You know, buy them. If that's what you want to do and you've got the money, then do it. It is a wonderful system. I'm just giving you an alternative view on my setup and my thoughts. And you know, if the price was a little bit cheaper on the EcoFlow, and this is a message to you, EcoFlow, if you'd reduce your price just by £200 for each item, you may get more interest in them. But what you've done is gone the other way and start now plug-in solar is looking at becoming legal. You've just pumped the prices up. So no one really wants to pay that much money, in my humble opinion. I would prefer to go this way, the portable way. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd be grateful to know what you think. But this is the way I do it, and this is the way I intend to keep doing it. So that's it. Anyway, I hope you liked the video, and keep watching. It always encourages me to produce more content. See you soon. Bye.